of all the misrepresented things in history, owning a farm. Wow. So I looked on the internet, and they said at the Lee farm, let's call it a farm, in Virginia, don't you know? Um, he had a lease for a peppercorn. Like it or not, on Christmas, bring me a peppercorn. That's your lease on the land. So anyway, it's an old story. Grandma Lee, my grandmother, God love her, God bless her, rest in peace, amen. A Detroiter and an integrationist, Canadian ancestry, had grown from a pit an avocado tree. And it was in a planter in the front window of the Highland Park house on Cortland. And I looked in Cortland, funny enough, God love it. There's Buena Vista, and again, there's the alleyway. There's a lot going on for those that grew up in that city. I'm sure the elders all have their happy moments through just the loss and desecration that they saw in that century. When you think about it, men are going off to World War One and Two. They're coming back, and there's a sense that you might have lost the home front, even as just, I don't know how to say it. It's just apple pie is no longer the nicest gift you give your neighbor. But I think the original idea, if you're a myself, I play around with growing things. I buy seeds here. I see what they do. I'm kind of at 46 years old. I'm no gardener really even. I'm a hobbyist with it. But I think the idea originally, not knowing anything, just reading it off the internet and thinking of stories that have been handed down to me um, throughout my own history in Michigan, is you can buy curry, you can buy coriander, you can buy clove, you can buy black pepper, red pepper, whatever. You see my point. Grow your own and bring me one. And really, it's funny enough. I've watched trees. I've looked. I've gone. I've kind of thought if poison oak goes from that weird thing, and the leaves look the same. I go, there's a plant. There's an oak tree. What's the apple out of an oak tree kind of thing? And like, no, it's a nut bearing deciduous. Like, you see my point. Not to make a big party about it or anything. I kind of learning more Michigan history as I go. I'd still say, as far as Native American anything in Michigan, I don't know. Kind of touchy subject, but I think the the people that ceded the land to the federal government, it was in the 1830s, and they go, I want to read it. Bring me the Constitution. Let us know what we're getting into. There are wars here, there, and everywhere. There's Fort Detroit. There's Pontiac. Love him. Anyway, there are wars. There's Chief Black Hawk. There are a lot of things. You look around, and boy, the names are still there. Really, of not rebels. Just a lot of things are offensive in life, and a man that's had to break up a bar fight or two knows, like, sometimes this stuff can get out of hand, right? So not knowing much, I thought, well, Nagwagon State Park over there, I don't know the details, but they have their own. I've read the DNR sign on it, and it really is beautiful. Um, and yet, I thought a lot about that over the past couple of years. I'd taken a course in that history from Bruce Rubenstein at U of M Flint, and really we all just listened. He's a great storyteller. Um, you know, I think at the end of the day, bring the wider world here and not speaking to the ancients myself, kind of just thinking about it from my own witness. It was coming anyway, right? The wider world was going everywhere. Why not Michigan too? And the Bill of Rights still, even in the 1830s. So that's that. I mean, it's not a simple land contract. You think, in a way, the original Americans that are around the Great Lakes have been through a lot. By 1836 and 7, they've already seen what happened to the Cherokee who lose Georgia in 1832, thanks to Chief Justice John Marshall of the very first sitting Chief Justice of the American Supreme Court. John Marshall was responsible for that one. So there's a lot of not even apology. There's a lot of truth in just looking at it like, well, are they British? Well, the Virginia, British, You see my point. And still, I think as far as states' rights goes, Calhoun was right, and that the nullification was right in some ways. There's how well do you know your neighbors for one? Yeah. Anyway, you cannot secede is the fight of the Civil War, and looking at Robert E. Lee, as strangely enough, I still think there's more to when he loses his house and home than anything else in terms of being offended in life. Okay. And but prior to all that, it was grow one on your, go ahead now. You want a lease on land. Bring me a peppercorn that you grew yourself. And for my grandmother Lee, she had grown from a pit of an avocado. She grew her own avocado tree, which I think, again, can you do it in an apartment? Yeah, yeah. Yes, you can, but some things they'll flower and then they die. They have their happiest seasons with you and then they just pass away. They never really even grow a little pepper or a seed or anything. And to me, it's still about the earth. Somehow it kept us going to feed us all. So it's hard to say in this land, greatest country on earth, for a lot of reasons. Um, I don't know. I think I confused myself by getting too far into it. Still, my favorite Lee anything is that one. Saint Joan of Arc, who Christian martyr that strands the signatures from July 4th of on her one of her winning campaign. I think she wants to bring comfort from the king when they were attempting to. It was during the good days of her 2 year campaign. As a 19-year-old girl, I find it amazing. Um, Impossible to do that kind of thing at 19 years old as a woman in a feudal society, as a peasant without God Himself right over your shoulder. You say a lot of things about Saint Joan of Arc, and yet that little Ace of Spades is still my favorite lily of anything. Peace.